If you've wondered whether sensors can beat steel, this is your case study. Near Brovy, Ukrainian sappers pre-laid seismic detectors and mines, then waited as 18 T-90Ms rolled into a 16-foot throat. I'll walk you through the exact sequence: lead tank detonation, BMP-2 losses, FPV raids on ammo trucks, and 155mm fire that cratered the corridor, so you can judge the doctrine yourself. In modern combat, does layered awareness erase masked armor? Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. How do you hide a trap big enough to stop 18 T-90Ms without anyone catching the setup? You don't hide it, you fold it into the ground and make the road do the work. The approach runs off a rail bridge onto a 2-lane strip that pinches to about 16 feet, boxed by low-rise sheds and berms, then bends in a shallow curve that squeezes sightlines to a few hundred meters. From a tank seat, the bend shortens perceived distance. From overhead, it looks clean and straight. That gap between what crews think they see and how the terrain actually channels them is the opening move. Russian optics sweep glass and asphalt. Recon drones drift and beam back a simple picture. No trenches, no dragon's teeth, no obvious obstacles. Yet the soil is already talking. The first faint thumps, the unique cadence of tracked blinks, travel through subgrade fill and into buried nodes that never transmit a single radio wave. The map forms underground. Each pressure step pins a position and a speed without a flash on the spectrum. The column reads a road. The road reads the column. Sappers drew this corridor weeks ahead. They seated seismic pickets on staggered lines, so the system could tell a lead hull from a trailing BMP-2 by weight and vibration profile. Directional mines went in not as a wall, but as hands, angled to steer rather than announce. Decoy rubble piles, broken brick, a twisted guardrail, a dropped pallet, nudge drivers toward the inner edge of the curve, where the pavement narrows and the ground hardens just enough to carry weight without collapse. Every stack has a reason. Tracks choose it without knowing. They insert it at night when a single clank can carry. So they moved like a maintenance team. Rubber soles, tape on sling hooks, foam on tool rolls. No radios. They buried fiber lines shallow enough to route fast, deep enough to dodge a casual shovel. Passive relays sat dormant, reflecting signals along the cable without broadcasting. A spotter team checked the curve with a red-filtered light, counted paces to the bridge abutment, and marked the lead charge with a soil patch that matched the drainage stain beside it. Then they left that street silent. This works because sound and mass lie. Visual scouting can miss a thread under dust, but a vibration spike doesn't. Seismic and magnetic cues don't care about paint, camouflage nets, or clean decks. They care about weight on ground and metal passing a fixed loop. Low-power systems that never reach for the air give electronic warfare nothing to grip. No link to jam means no early warning when the trap wakes. Days earlier, they ran a proof. A farm tractor rolled past at noon. Scouts matched its path to the sensor line and popped a harmless ping on the far edge of the grid to check lag and range. No blast, nothing to betray the placement, just a line on a tablet and a note about soil moisture after a light rain and how it dampened the signal by a few percent. At 5 a.m., steel arrived. 18 T-90Ms and BMP-2s crawled off the railspan in pairs. Thermal images flat in the cool air, turret cameras clean. The sensors read the weight ladder and woke the firing logic. The lead tank crossed the inner curve, where the charge was slaved to a threshold, not a timer. The ground answered. The linked device blew upward into the man, through an 85-foot fireball, and jammed the lane with burning armor in a space no wider than a bus. The curve turned a wreck into a wall. Engines idled. Commanders shouted over intercom. Tracks twitched, then stopped. The map underground had done its part. The column slowed to a crawl, and with the road fixed, awareness turned into targeting as the timed layers prepared to open. Once the lead tank is burning, how do you turn panic into precision without hitting your own trap? You treat chaos like data. The command post pulls in the underground sensor hits, folds them with quadcopter video, and strips Russian radio traffic through low-power filters to remove spoof and noise. Every ping-end frame gets stacked by range, front wrecks, mid-movers, soft skins in the back. A living map builds in seconds. Grid squares populate with confidence scores, and the fire plan shifts from pre-planned lanes to dynamic tasking. The goal is simple: hold the choke, bleed the middle, and cut the tail so nothing escapes and nothing blows the charges ahead of schedule. Crews in the column bail from hatches and fan out to the berms. BMP-2 drivers nose forward and try to edge past the burning T-90, tracks slewing across spilled fuel. Ammo trucks creep, guided by hand signals, hoping to reverse under cover of exhaust. The risk is obvious. One bad strike into a trailer or an engine deck at the wrong moment can turn the corridor into a rolling detonation that breaks the rhythm. Fire discipline matters more than volume. Each shooter takes a lane and a timing block, and no one reaches for an easy hit if it threatens the overall plan. PZH 2000s open with controlled pairs that bracket the mid-column, walking rounds 10 meters at a time to pin crews to armor. Leopard 2. A6s sit on standoff lines outside the curve, pull down behind building corners, ready to snap shots at any hull that clears the smoke. HIMARS isn't for the road. It's clocked to fence off the rear, bridges, crossroads, and the single hard stand where recovery vehicles stage. FPV teams split by target type. Heavy warheads stay off the tanks for now. The small charges and shaped noses go hunting for fuel Bowsers, command vans, and the truck-mounted cranes that could pull the lead wreck. There's a reason FPVs start at the back. Kill fuel and ammo first, and you cut the column in half without touching the heaviest armor. You also starve recovery, so every disabled hull becomes a permanent obstacle. Under smoke, command vehicles sit still and broadcast. FPVs ride that predictability. They also fly under most jammers by keeping links short and antennas low. Swarms don't need size to be effective. They need sequencing and angles. One pair shadows a BMP-2 by heat, matching throttle changes and staying inside its exhaust bubble where crosswind drops. At the bend, the drones break apart. The lead skims the lane marker and drags attention. The second dives through the shimmer and hits a strapped ammo crate on a following truck. The lid flips, the crate cooks off, and sparks jump across spilled diesel. Fire crosses lanes. A driver bails and slips, and the empty seat lets the vehicle roll sideways into the gutter, blocking another path. Artillery shifts tempo. Airburst 155mm pops over dismounts to force helmets down and keep optics off the sky. Then, delay fuse shells punch into the 16-foot throat, chewing potholes and breaking the subgrade so stalled armor sinks on its own weight. The corridor becomes a vice. Tanks that try to pivot dig in and stop. Others keep engines running and heat signatures spike, making them easier for drones to tag and for gunners to range. Overhead, Su-27s and Su-30 stay at distance, but their presence keeps Russian air cautious. Electronic warfare teams push noise across common drone bands, forcing enemy quadcopters to hunt for clean channels. In the rear, a grad launcher flashes. The radar trace and thermal bloom give location and heading. HIMARS takes the grid and drops a pair, cutting the launcher and its resupply truck at the exit road. Modern defense wins by sensing first and shaping movement. The Brovy fight shows how terrain, timing, and pre-positioned tools can turn armor from force into fixation. You don't meet mass head-on. You bend it, slow it, and hold it until it loses momentum and options. The side that builds the map fastest controls the outcome.